creating a high-quality avatar without modeling from scratch using the MetaHuman Character Creator. For this project, I selected Lisa from Blackpink. I found this outfit last week in my feed and I thought I need to recreate it. And then the logical next step for me was to also recreate her avatar.
I cannot model.
And I also don't have the time. So I tried just with using an overlay and sculpting sliders in the MetaHuman Character Creator to recreate her face shape. And then I recognized probably there's also some tweaks I need to do with the makeup, because if you know, you know, makeup is everything and you need to do a bit of sculpting. So if you completely new to makeup, I also teach you how you can sculpt a bit your face, and therefore I use Substance Painter. So this will be a tutorial to cover kind of the basic workflow creating your own MetaHuman character in Unreal 5.7.2, and then also bringing the Facemesh into Substance Painter and creating a soft makeup. And I cover some fundamental basics as well, which is removing the underwear and also exporting the DNA, so you can use the DNA avatar later in CLO to fit your garment. And at the end, you decide if this workflow is yay or meh. If you like content like this, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. This would be already a big help. I share regularly my workflows from CLO3D to Unreal Engine using Substance Painter and so on. Everything about digital fashion. Let's begin. Before we start, this is not a beginner's tutorial. I just want to cover some basics in the beginning. But if you're interested in a full workflow, I will also link a tutorial here where I explain how you set up Unreal in detail. First, all required plugins are installed and Unreal Engine is set up correctly. In the Epic Games launcher under Library, I use Unreal Engine 5.7.2. In the option menu, MetaHuman Creator core data is installed. Scrolling down to the Fab library, the MetaHuman plugin is installed as well. After launching Unreal, you could start with a blank project. I open my studio template. The setup tutorial is linked above, and the finished template is available in my shop, so I put the link in the description. Inside the project, under Edit, Plugins, I search for MetaHuman and enable the MetaHuman Creator plugin. I also enable the CLO and Substance plugin for later use. If prompted, I restart the project. After restarting, in the content browser under right mouse click, I search for MetaHuman Character. I create a new character and rename it, in my case, to Lisa. With a double click, I open the character. If Unreal requests enabling missing components, I confirm and restart. The user interface of the MetaHuman Character Creator is quite intuitive, and it feels less like working in a software and more like a game, because with the toolbox system you can just decide what and how to create your character. In the center is the viewport. I switch from topology to skin. Lighting, camera and render quality settings are available, but I leave them at default. So as said, for this project, instead of modeling a base mesh, which means hours of work, and I even don't know how to do this, I just select a base character and will use the slider to model. And after I will select skin, hair and makeup in the toolbar to build up. And on the left side are the MetaHuman tools. To recreate Lisa, I begin by selecting a female preset that feels close as starting point. In the right side, I set the preview drop-down to hidden to improve performance during sculpting. Under head, blend, I combine different characters using the slider. Then under transform, I refine proportions more precisely. Before refining further, I use an overlay of my reference image. In my case, I use PureRef, which is a free tool I found online, and it just creates a transparent overlay. And it's very handy. With the overlay placed on screen, I adjust proportions to align the face with the reference. Next, I switch to Sculpt for more detailed adjustments. And I also use side face reference and continue refining the profile with Sculpt and Transform. Next is skin, hair, makeup, and again I use just the presets, I don't make my own hair. Under materials, skin, I adjust the base skin tone. In the makeup section, I test variations and reduce opacity to create a subtle base. If hair and clothing options are not visible, I set visibility back to visible in the viewport menu on the right side. And hair and clothing elements can be selected or deselected with a double click. I choose a new hairstyle and refine lashes and brows as needed. Under details, additional hair settings are available. The dye color can be adjusted using the color picker. Lowering the hair color value increases the intensity of the dye. And before moving on, I fine-tune the sculpt once more. For the body of my MetaHuman, I use a standardized body from the past, which in my case was the underweight tall. And I always use the same model because I have built up a library of cloths, and if I would use different shapes, it would also make my workflow much more complicated. So here's how I get my old body shape into my new avatar. In the body tab, I open the conform menu. In the file section, I load a body DNA file from a previous project and select conform. Before exporting, I also refine teeth and eye materials and adjust makeup if necessary. And now it's coming to export my face mesh and textures. From the top menu, I select MetaHuman Character, Export Face Skeletal Mesh. Then I save the face texture to my texture folder. I minimize the MetaHuman Character window to find in the content browser my Facemesh. I right-click the Facemesh, choose Asset Actions, Export, and deselect everything. In the next step, I use Substance Painter for texturing. It's much easier because I can import my Facemesh and then just directly paint on top. So it's kind of like using makeup as I would do in real life. But for sure, you could also use other software as Photoshop to make like fine adjustments. I just find it easier. In Substance Painter, I create a new project. Facemesh selected, 4K resolution, UV tile workflow. I import the textures. In the texture set list, I select the correct Facemesh and hide the rest. I create a layer for color and apply the base face texture along with the normal map. Before painting, I bake maps in 4K resolution. And if necessary, I remove the AO map in the texture settings. In this case, makeup does not need to be heavy. It's a quite natural look, but as said, the contouring is again shaping the face much more and giving the right skin tone, as well as I recognize the eyeliner from the presets is a bit off, so I will also correct this one. And making a nice lip tint. And I just show my workflow with the layers. I'm quite new starting, so probably this can be improved, but here we are. To remove minor spots, I create a paint layer and I use shortcut P to color pick the skin tone. I paint corrections onto the texture. Next, I add a fill layer and color pick from the reference image. Using screen or multiply blending modes and reduce opacity creates a subtle foundation. For contouring, I enable symmetry. I slightly darken the tone for visibility, add a black mask, and then a paint layer. And begin defining the contour. The same process I repeated for highlights, eyeshadow, eyeliner and lip tint. Colors are blocked first and then I soften them. For each layer I add a filter with blur above the paint layer. Blending modes and opacity are adjusted depending on whether the effect should darken or brighten with either screen or multiply. Even if we created a lot of layers, I just export the one color map because this is simple and powerful. Under File, Export Textures, I reset settings. Only the face texture set is selected. Under Output Maps, I export only the color map. I choose my output folder and the textures are exported. Now finally it's integrated in the character creator, so I can easily drag and drop my makeup color map to my avatar and it's automatically blending into the body mesh. Back in Unreal, I import the texture via drag and drop. In MetaHuman Creator on Materials, Skin, I enable Texture Override. I add a new face texture slot and assign the imported map. To ensure the texture displays correctly, all built-in makeup settings I need to set to default with no additional foundation, eyes, cheeks or lips applied. This is important. Coming to the underwear, and it was never easier to remove the underwear. First of all, if I go to the skin material, I can select now full set or single control the resolution. And I simply select 4K since my look will show a lot of skin. To remove the default underwear, I disable Show Top Underwear. And then I can mask the body underwear by adding a body map. I need a bright red mask texture I created in Photoshop in 1K. Is imported and I assign and set it as underwear mask. So finalizing the character, we are still in the MetaHuman Creator, but we need the MetaHuman blueprint to use it in our project. To complete the character, I select Create Full Rig and download texture sources. This can take a while. After processing, I go to Assemble and select Assemble. Now I can download the MetaHuman DNA by selecting MetaHuman Character tab on top. I download the face and body DNA, which I can use later directly on CLO to fit my garments. And now I'm closing my MetaHuman character. There are a few new folders generated with the MetaHuman directory. Inside, there's a blueprint, contains a finished character. And you can actually see my finished character with clothes. And this workflow I will show in part 2. So what's next? As said, I have part 1 here and part 2 is also uploaded. If you like content like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I also will put a link below where you can find my shop as well as project files and other stuff. Actually not sure what I will include. And feel free, if you have any questions, to leave a comment. See you next time!